Hey there. Welcome to the Founder Shoptalk, where we chat with founders who are building the future of tech, design, and impact. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Jaz Lin, founder of Skyrelis, a company creating a new kind of platform for agentic security, basically helping teams secure AI agents in real time without any developer interference. We'll dive into her journey, what sparks Skyrelis, and what she's learning as she builds this new layer of AI infrastructure. Welcome to this new series that we're starting, the Founder Shop Talk. Would love to start with a little bit about your story, your background. How did you end up starting Skyrelis?
Sounds good. I was born and raised in Taiwan, and I will start with my personal background. I was born and raised in Taiwan and came to United States for school. I am an engineer by training, and I'm not a typical the founder. So if you ask me like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I would start a company, I won't believe you. It's very cliche, but it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
I
was a
understand.
very late boomer. So when I first started my job in my early 30s, it's all about traveling. I'm so fascinating how different country do business, deploy the technology. At that time, I was early stage of my career. All I do is finding a job, allow me to travel to see how technology being used in different company, very different countries. Very luckily, I started my career at Cisco. It's a big enough platform. And I was signed up for different roadshow to roll out network security solutions and know about traveling. And then later, I find out that as I find it very fascinating. Like you overall in the market, you see the trend and the same trend, but you go to different countries, so always have different requirements. And I start like fall in love with like deploy the real life the solution in real life in different market. So I never thought I would start a company. So how did I end up here to be a founder and for Skyrelis? It really, the idea started in my previous job. I was leading the product and the marketing team for network infrastructure company for 911. Just like most of leadership team, we got a lot of pressure and we've been asked the question by our board, what's your AI strategy? So we do have one, and we actually use an AI to quickly translate many different language for 911 services. But then I realized that, crap, I don't have solution for my security team to monitor, to manage that. And 2024 is all about doing research. What the AI agentic security solution out there? Then I feel like this is this category gap. So this is a brand new category. So I end up building a very long spreadsheet, list out all the solutions out there in the market, and try to convince myself, why can't I just use these solutions? I have all the pros and cons and reason I cannot use them for what I try to do. And I have a 40 pages document, very detailed. Story short, I failed to convince myself not to do it. So I quit a job and found a company. That's where I am.
That's a really great story. Just curious about the agent like security aspect of it. Like maybe in simple term, what about the problem that got you really curious about it and how you're trying to solve it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, the problem right now is actually people start have the awareness, AI safety, AI security. So if you go to LinkedIn, you search it, it's front and center. Almost everybody's talking about that. Security is important. This is a good sign. But if you look at all the tool in the market today, it's more of developer tool, right? So you see that a lot of solution, there a lot of terminology coming out. There's a DevSecOps, development security operation, MilSecOps. All this terminology is so really centered for developers. So what does that mean? That means that a lot of security policy is building in the applications. So why this is a problem? If you look at the application today, the moment application deployed in the productions, security team need to take over. Take over, what does that mean? To monitor, to enforce the policy. That's a huge difference. In any application, you need to have security feature building just like SaaS. We've been through this the SaaS era. Application will have security feature like authentication, right? Authorization, all this security feature. But the thing is, security team, they look at policy differently. They look at policy across the entire organization, not just one app, not just one application. So the policy, what I mean for the organization is that, hey, using the approved large language model only, right? No DeepSeek. That's a very common policy. Second policy will be, hey, use English only or Japanese only if you're in Japan, no other language. So we all can understand, right? Or if you're fintech, if you wire any money more than 5,000, you need to have a human in the loop. Or AI agent just cannot handle that kind of large volume transfer. This kind of tool, and this need to be a golden rule, cannot be overwritten by any application. That is missing. That's a problem statement. The problem statement is that security team that write a policy, they can't enforce them, right? If you look at today's market, the tool, that security team, they write policy, but I have to go back to ask developer to enforce that policy. That's the problem.
I can also see like expanding this problem to like also new updates or like updates that happen later on. So I assume that would also part of what you're trying to solve is also for these updates to be more smoothly. Is that correct?
That's absolutely, thank you. That's absolutely correct. For example, if you only have one policy update per agent per month, that's 12 policy update per year. I actually built out the ROI calculator to calculate how much it will cost. So that becomes very expensive and very complicated because they said that you deploy the AI agent in productions next month because you have a customer in Europe Abdalla solution. You need to change the security policy. Then you have to go back to ask your developer to write in this policy. So right now, I see really the problem here is that we assign the wrong responsibility under the wrong identity. What does that mean? Engineer now have to take on security team's role to really enforce the compliance requirement. If you ask and all the developer, they tell you that's not what they sign up for. Well, attacking their identity, then we actually force them to do something they don't sign up for, right? So that's a challenge, the problem I try to solve.
I think that's a really good problem. And coming from also enterprise background, I can see there's a huge problem in the enterprise where now first how to incorporate AI to their own platform. And then second, of course, you don't usually think about the policy and the rules aspect until either it's too late or spending so much to enforce it later. So would you see like your product more targeting all SaaS market at the moment, startup, enterprise? Like where do you see the product used by the most?
Yeah, so we're very laser focused on medium-sized company because if you look at security today, medium-sized company are very, very underserved. Today's security solution is actually very complicated. Now you layer in Agentic on top, is even more complicated. The complexity alone is a security challenge issues. Like in the medium-sized company, what I observe here is that the market is growing more and more every day because the AI is really increased their productivity. They have the budgets, right? But the thing is, they don't have the entire security operation team there, right? The number of employee is decreasing, but the revenue is increasing. What does that really mean? They need a solution simple enough for them to adopt. They need a solution that doesn't require entire army of the security operations. That's exactly the market we are addressing. In terms of vertical, pretty much any vertical, if it's in enterprise, B2B, they're using AI agents or agentic solution, we will be able to address that, not just a SaaS, right?
Even just the term, like I think you mentioned, the policy layer for agentic AR. I think this is really sounds pretty cool. If you can share a little bit more about like how are you planning or how Skyrelis. See, I told you I'm gonna be I'm gonna do a mistake. Skyrelis how Skyrelis is planning to be different than other tools in the market.
Yeah. The way we solve the problem, the concept is that we decouple the policy engine from the application. We don't build it in. So we are actually is the missing security and policy layer for AI agents. So the way I would describe Skyrelis is that we are the AI infrastructure company for agentic security. That we have that policy engines and that we host, right, on our side, so we can hide all the complexity from customer. The key thing here is that decouple policy engine from your application and will hide all the complexity, will host that policy engines. How the solution will work, security team now log into our SaaS portal, configure the policy. The policy example I mentioned, English only, approve LLM, and then no wiring money for more than 50K, the human in the loop. You go on and on, right? The policy is, it can be flexible, like it's company layer, or department can have different policy. Or you can create a different policy profile, security profile for different user group, for different region, right? That Europe have a complete different region than US market, different regulation. Without that policy layer separation, I don't know how to do it, because that you have to maintain that many different applications. We had different CI/CD pipeline to wiring the policy. It'll be a nightmare. So that is how we address, very, very high level, how we address the solution, the problem.
And then from these engines, basically can easily later apply it to whatever user facing AI agent that they're using, right? I'm assuming that can be applied across the
Correct.
tools.
So I think the question you are asking is that there are so many AI agent framework out there, tool out there. AWS one, Legend. Yes, our solution here is very key is that we are platform agnostic, the cloud agnostic, framework agnostic. So think about us that almost like a plug and play AI infrastructure, right? So we'll lay on top. Underneath, doesn't matter what framework you use. You can use Cool AI, Lenschain, Lensmith, whatever. But these can be in different cloud, right? That we're agnostic from that. Another key point about our solution, the plug and play solution, is that we become that switch. Look, Sam Altman said that language model will be soon commoditized, and there will be many different specialized language model that will become that switch. We can pick and choose the best model for you. If you're in different vertical, you're in fintech, you're in healthcare, you might have different language model better suited for your vertical. We become that switch because we're the infrastructure. The second thing here is that guardrails. There are so many guardrails out there to talk about AI safety. They also can be specialized, right? And then there's another thing here is that there's so many different tools. We don't know what's coming next month, next quarter, next year.
Yep,
The important
that's true.
is that to provide that infrastructure, have that flexibility building to be just a little bit future proof. Yeah.
Well, that sounds awesome. And it's very exciting. There's just so many tools coming out. And I believe that AI policy or the rules that you have to incorporate into the software and platform that is building, there's a huge opportunity and market there for sure, as we're still learning about how the AI will be used in platforms. I'm curious also more about as a founder journey, or we talk more about founder journey. A key part of the founder journey is finding his founding team. So I would love to learn a little bit more about your team. How did you find your team? What did you think about? And if there's any like background or mindset that you were looking for into your team?
Yeah, I like that. So again, I gotta feel like I am so lucky. Like I feel like the problem just fell on my lap, and I start and I start like thinking about the company and
That's the best one.
send as my team. And I have two awesome co-founders. Diljit is one of my ex-colleagues, and he's a second-time founder and have success exit. And he was building agentic security solution for a networking company. And we went out to have a coffee chat, and I share with him my philosophy. Immediate as a click, and so glad to have him. So we share the exact same vision. So plug and play, you will have to make sure separate developers at effort versus CISO effort. And my second co-founder, she's a fractional CTO to help start a company build agentic solutions. So I feel like it could be best we have people understand cybersecurity, including me. We will have a co-founder understand how to build agentic solutions. So that's where we are. And it just happened, and the timing is right. I feel I'm very lucky. Yeah. Another question you're asking about what I'm looking for. I think that's the second question you have.
Yeah,
About
like any background or mindset that you were looking for when you reached out or started founding your team.
Yeah. So like all three of us were kind of late stage in our career. So I think that is kind of what I believe, that because we've been there, done that, right? And we're all deep in the enterprise market. So I think that's very important for me. So like we share the same language. We don't have to relearn a lot of stuff. So that's one thing. Our team is different than typical the founding team. And it's not like we know each other, so we start looking for a solution to build. It just happened that way. And I
That's
think,
great.
yeah.
I think of that as this is as a strength. Some special for an enterprise word, I would say. I think experience matter, and also networking and being in the business. If you can share a few of maybe biggest lessons you've learned so far, especially you mentioned you're coming in more of a, I would say, background of traditional enterprise companies and used to, and as an immigrant myself, I understand also how difficult that is to take the leap to move from a secure job and basically take the leap to finding your own company and go to the unknown of the startup world. So any lesson that you can share with us, like how did you do the transition? What did you learn from it? And the lesson you kind of gain as you were building Skyrelis so far?
Yeah. I think I spent almost like a year to convince me not to do it. I know that how difficult this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that 12 months probably even like it kind of mentally trained myself, right? I can go through one by one. Why can't I just use this solution? Why not? Right? And go through that and really convincing myself like, hey, clearly carve out what's the problem statement, the gap I try to fill. That's one thing. And I also have to talk me through, because AI infrastructure is not small, it's big. It's big. Like starting from a startup, many people are gonna say, no, you're not the right person. This is too big. But you see, you're caught in this dilemma. If it's small enough, nobody think that, they want to invest because they all want the big market. But big enough, you have to mentally prepare. You are the right person. You have the right team. Basically, I'm laser focused on the problem. What problem I try to solve? What is the problem? Rather than am I big enough, strong enough to build it? I don't look at that side. I just focus on if this is the right problem, big enough problem to solve. And I don't want to ask a question, am I strong enough to build it? And I know that, hey, I will be fine. And my team has, I said, we have each other, right? Every time if we need a break. Like right now, look, I have to find my urge to slow down in order to go fast, like take break. I think like we have to constantly remind each other, when you take break, take break. Be healthy, be strong, because this is not just 1 month, 2 months. It's a longer term, and we will be fine. We'll figure things out. Yeah.
These are like all the good lessons along the way. Curious if anything like surprised you, like about yourself or about what you're trying to build.
I think just our biggest surprise is that we actually take on this journey. It's really never thought if I'll be here to start a company. And that's the biggest
Yeah.
surprise. I think another surprise here is that I think things are moving so fast. Look, like
Good to hear.
I was talking to a lot of the founder and the leaders. They keep telling me they lost their crystal ball. Things moving so fast, evolve so fast. Today, you see this is the technology advantage. 3 months later, there's another breakthrough. I mean, we hear this so often, so many times. It's nothing new. So I think that's another big surprise, that things evolve so quickly. Then that become our philosophy as well. I think for us, one thing, this is couple golden rule for us is that we want to build an AI infrastructure flexible enough that we can absorb a little bit unknown in the future. Right? The plug and play thing is huge for us. I don't want to put a bet on just one arrow, and I don't want to put a bet on one approach. Right? To have that flexibility built in to be just a little bit feature proof. We don't know what's coming to us 3 months later down the road. So that is a key golden rule for us.
And that's great. And that's actually what was my next question. Wanted to ask about where do you see the specifically agentic security and agentic policy space evolving and going in the next few years?
That's a very good questions. Couple of things I see that coming is number one, there will be a lot of education we have to do. I firmly believe that it's a brand new category. We just start kind of discover this category. Oh, don't get me wrong. The DevSecOps and MLSecOps is still very, very valuable, but that's for developer. It's a brand new wide world just get started. Okay, so I don't believe that it's hard to put bet on one thing. I think that all these huge tech company, they're gonna solve it. They're gonna solve it. They're gonna go, I call them portfolio company. They're gonna go through many different acquisition to build a very comprehensive breadth of a solution out there. But they are not built for a medium-sized company. They are too expensive, too complicated to adopt. Okay, I was in the past 5 years, I'm very deep in the medium-sized company. That breaks my heart because this is just like this market is so underserved. Nobody want to pay attention because top 500 is easy to identify. Mid-market is hard to identify. But the thing is that I see huge potential here. Another reason is that once you go outside the US, all you see is a medium-sized company. All you see is a huge market out there. It's okay. We'll solve it. We'll focus on this market because I really believe that they are underserved. With the AI technology coming in, you see this medium-sized company growing. Right? Why? Because increasing productivity, right? You see their revenues going up, the number of employees are shrinking. What does that mean? They really cannot afford to hire entire security operation. So that is that is the market we're laser focused on. If we can nail it in US, going into a global market will be a lot easier for us.
We actually get a lot of questions too about so why these startup ideas or the new ideas that is coming, why would you build it versus like the Fortune 500 company? They can spend so much money to build it. But we always say all good ideas started outside of the Fortune 500. The enterprise and big companies really busy and worried about other logistics things to come up with really good ideas. And LGBT and other things are really born out of necessity that came, and nobody wanted to really invest in AI 5 years ago, but now it's part of all the software and everything. So I totally agree with what you just said earlier. And even not just for the market, I think it's a good idea that should exist because it needs to exist, and need more ideas to come related to policy and try and build this trust around the teams using AI for sure.
Yeah. Another trend I see coming is that today for AI, we all talk about personalizations, but we're talking about feature. They learn about your tone, they learn about your thought process, they learn about your calendar habit. Security need to be personalized as well. Maybe not to each individual user. I think there's a potential, but look, when you deploy the agentic security, agentic solution in different country, in different continent, they have different regulations. How are you going to keep up with all the different requirements? You need to have the easy way to really enforce the policy without rebuild the application. That's a trend. Who can solve that problem? Who will be the winner? That's what I believe.
Piggyback on this conversation and where the team is going. So I'm curious to know, and hopefully the audience also can use to know, so where Skyrelis is going and what's next for you and your team, anything that is in the pipeline that you're excited about.
We just started our journey. So right now for 2025 and 2026, it's all about building the solution. Feature will keep coming. We're not building feature, we're building the solution, building AI infrastructure. Make sure that we have the AI infrastructure covered broad enough that can meet our customers' requirement. right now the stage is all about building. If you ask me where I want to be after we grow up, there are a couple of things I want to do. I want to offer the managed services, especially for a medium-sized company. That's important. Like I mentioned, I don't have the entire security operation team. And I believe that there is a marketplace opportunity here for us as well, right? Pick and choose all the security solution, large language model you want. On the left side is different AI agents. On the right side is different security solution and the tool you want to use. So this is a very long-term vision, but right now we need to stay focused, building.
Um, anything that excites you about what you're building right now?
Yeah, so I think that, like I mentioned, that switch, that policy engines, we want to really putting a lot of option, like different language model, different guardrail, right? And also we want to be able to allow our customer create a different security profile for different region based on different policy. It's got to be very simple, like template. Look, I want to EU Act, right? EU AI Act. And also there are 4 regulations in US, right? Colorado, New York, and California, and what's the other? There are four states. So you can pick and choose and different vertical. You can pick and choose and it will provide a template. Then of course you can fine tune, right? And that's the regional market level within your company, the company level golden rule and different department or different app that layer. So that kind of flexibility, that is what excites me.
Awesome. If anyone interested to reach out or know more, where can they do that, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I think 2 best way is one is go to our website, www.skyrelis, that's spelled SKYRELIS.com. And the second way is reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. And you can find me by my name, Jaz Lin, Jaz, my first name, and Lin, Lin. So I'm also on Medium. I enjoy writing that, and I write some article just to really tell the story why agentic security matter, exactly what we built. Another thing our team is laser focused on is building the right tool for leader to have the conversation in the board. For example, ROI calculator. When you walk into the board, it's not about vision, it's not about your dream, it's about numbers. How can you really make sure numbers talks to help you to justify what you want to do? That tool need to be there. So we're doing a lot of educations about this new category try to build and offer all the tools. Reach out to me if you want to have a conversation on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to hear feedback, to understand your problem, the challenge you're facing, and to see how we can come in to help.
That's awesome. And hopefully we'll have some of these links as well in the description for sure to reach out if you want to. But this is really exciting and I'm excited to continue the conversation. And thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate your giving me some of the time, your time, and as well for our audience here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. And here you have it. We talked a lot about AI security, and Jaz Lin gave us a lot of insights about how she found her company. We'll have more information about that, of course, in the description. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.